Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Judy Hanel. A pleasant good morning, Judy, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How are you doing today?
Very good. It's actually night at the moment, so it's almost bedtime for me, but yeah.
Okay. That's a difference. And I must say, you are living in the country that is my ultimate goal to get to, Australia.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, at least you know someone here now.
And she's dying to see, between us, she's dying to see the kangaroos.
Well, there's plenty here, so yeah.
So we will be speaking to you today about the performing arts. So is there anything in particular that prompted you to become a performing arts teacher?
The journey to being a performing arts teacher was a very gradual one because I've always loved music. So music is where it started for me. I sang at church and at school. I was always in choirs, and I started piano lessons from a very early age. And I think, Pamela Wall was my teacher, and she gave me every encouragement in every area that I could in music. And at school, my teachers were very encouraging as well. So there were opportunities to be in plays and to dance, and I just took every opportunity that I had. So I had a really rich ground foundation for building my interest in that area. In terms of actually teaching in the performing arts, it really sort of happened as a gradual process because I started out teaching a preschool music class because I had young kids and I wanted them to have access to music. And so I did that for a little while, and that led to me getting a job in a primary school teaching music for 1 day a week. And then that led to the job that I have now, teaching music and drama is how it was advertised. And drama wasn't a specialty of mine. I hadn't been trained in drama, but I was eager to give it a go, and they were pretty flexible and pretty happy for me to give it a go. So I did that. And so that's evolved into a performing arts role because the Australians have instituted an Australian curriculum. And in that curriculum, we have to do all of the arts, the 5 arts. And so I'm responsible for teaching dance, music, and drama. So it wasn't like I set out to become a performing arts teacher. And I certainly never thought that that was something I would do when I was living in St. Kitts as a child. So yeah, it's just one of those things where you grab each opportunity and it leads to the next. And then here I am.
If you can, tell us about the learning curve. Obviously, your background is in music, but in terms of the drama, what was it like for you being, if I could say this, thrown into the spotlight a little bit to say, that?
Yeah, it was difficult, and it was, I figured that there was a lot of crossover between music and drama because as a musician, particularly if you're singing, there's a huge acting component to that. And that was something I was familiar with from being in school, doing plays, and I was always interested in acting anyway. I just hadn't really thought of it as a career thing, so I just did it for fun. But fortunately in Australia, there's lots of professional development. So from the time I started teaching drama, I was always looking for workshops and conferences where I could go and learn from other people, learn from other teachers. And there's just such a wealth of information online as well, and information for teachers, information, just general knowledge, or theatre companies that are available all over the world, so you can learn from lots of in lots of different ways. But it was a big learning curve because when I first started, I was just looking at a book and picking a unit here or there, trying something out, and it didn't always work. But over the years, I've sort of developed a much more structured, sequenced way of knowing, okay, I'm going to start with this activity and then it's going to build, and we're going to build these skills gradually over the years so that by the time they get to year 6 or 7, that they've got a really good foundation. Hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, definitely. More ways than you realize, definitely. It says to me that you are self-directed as a teacher. I suppose you have to be a self-directed learner as well. And so...
Absolutely, yeah. learning is a big part of teaching. I learn so much all the time. When I first did my very first production, it was, compared to what I'm doing now, it was just, thinking back to that, it was just chaotic. There was just so many things all over the place to keep track of. And now I have a really good system of keeping track of everything that has to happen. So yeah, it was a big learning as you learn, and I'm just learning stuff all the time.
Never too old to learn, as the saying goes. So can you tell us about your involvement in Drama South Australia?
Yeah, so Drama South Australia is a professional organisation for teachers, and it's set up for the very purpose of providing teachers with the knowledge and the skills to teach drama. So a lot of teachers like myself, they have come to drama, teaching drama from being a classroom teacher, or from being a music teacher, or a dance teacher, or the school just wanted to do drama, so they've said, okay, can you do drama? And someone puts their hand up and says, yes, I'll do drama. So we have a wide range of skill sets of people coming in to teach drama. And so the organisation provides a way for teachers to come together and learn from one another. And they bring in, sometimes we have professional theatre makers or professional actors or professional script writers, and they come in and they share their insights into how they go about creating a script, or how they go about building the production they want, what they're looking for from their actors, or they do actual skills training in building drama skills in, voice or character building. And so, different workshops cater to different things. So each year the association tries to figure out what are the things that teachers are looking for, what do they really need, and we try to put together a series of workshops that fit those needs. And I had been to several of those workshops. As I said, I felt like I needed it, so I was going to lots of workshops, and the presenters and the members of Drama South Australia, they kept asking me to join, and so yeah, one time I finally said yes. And yeah, because I had such a big involvement in Drama South Australia, one year I got nominated for an award as a Drama South Australia award. And so that was just at the start of me sort of becoming even more involved with them. So yeah, now I'm the Secretary of Drama South Australia, and trying to keep creating those opportunities for other teachers.
Based on your experiences teaching music and drama to children, have there been any lessons that you've learned from these children?
Oh, absolutely. There's so many lessons I've learned. But the thing that I think that I find really interesting is that kids have a unique way of looking at life and looking at the world, and they ask really insightful questions that you would never think to ask, because you just assume, and sometimes it's something simple as I learn how kind they can be. Kids can be really kind. Sometimes they can be cruel, but sometimes they think about one another. They look at a child who's crying, and they're so concerned. They're so upset. They're so worried. So I think the biggest thing I would say I've learned from kids is just how they have really big hearts, and they have, they want to help, and they want to do, and they want to understand things. They don't just want you to give them a quick solution. They want to know, how does this really work? What can this do? Like I'll give them a recorder, and, in my mind, here's a recorder, we're going to play it, put your fingers here, but they want to take it apart, and they want to know, it's got 3 parts. Why does it have 2 holes on this one and only 1 hole there? So they make you stop and actually think about why does this work the way it does? Why does it have to be this way? Why are the rules the way they are? Why do we have these rules? And they actually make you stop and justify what you're telling them. A number of times I've caught myself, trying to explain to a child what they've done wrong. And I'm saying, I might be asking them to be really empathetic and, look at this person over here, think about how they're feeling. And then I catch myself in that moment thinking, yeah, I need to do the same. So I think that's the biggest thing about those relationships between each other. You watch them and you observe the way they interact with each other. And it teaches you a lot about yourself as a human being, and it teaches you a lot about what human beings need and how they work.
Great lessons to learn, Judy, indeed.
So, Judy, you mentioned teaching the kids the recorder. Is there any other instrument that you teach them, and what would your favorite instrument be?
Well, at the moment, I'd probably say my favorite instrument is the violin, because I've actually started learning to play the violin recently, and I'm just fascinated by it and how incredibly difficult it is to learn, but also just how amazing it can sound. But I teach recorder to my year 3s. I teach the xylophones to my year 4s, and I teach ukuleles to the year 5s, which is just a kind of a small component of what we learn as music, because music for me is teaching them the skills and the concepts so that they understand pitch and rhythm and beat and what a melody is and what the structure of the music is. And the instrument is just a means for allowing them to explore those concepts. So they're not going to walk away knowing everything about the ukulele, because we just don't have time with 30 kids in a class. But they'll know the basics and they'll understand how the music works. And I also teach violin 1 day a week before school. So that's an extra thing that I do just because I really wanted to give that opportunity to students. And so, yeah, I mean, I love all instruments. I love the cello. I really love, there's not really an instrument. I'm not a big fan of the bagpipes. Sorry to the bagpipe lovers. But most other instruments I love. So, it would be really hard to choose just one.
Given your experience teaching children at different levels, different instruments, what can you tell us about productions that you've probably had with these children? What does that look like?
The productions I've had again, they've evolved over the years. So when I first went to my school, they used to have a concert with all the people who did musical instruments. They would come and everyone would play a piece. And it's evolved into really the drama production being the focus of the performance. And then the choirs that I have, I've got 2 choirs, a junior and a senior choir, and a band. And so what happens is that we come up with a theme or a story that we're doing for our drama production, and then we build everything around it. So the songs that the choir sings will generally fit in with the theme or the story that we're doing. So, 1 year we did Alice in Wonderland, and we used several of the songs from that. There was a musical, and I didn't do the whole musical, but we took some of the songs out, and the junior choir did some of the songs, and the senior choir did some of the songs. And we've also, over the years, just found that it's really great to have everybody do a final song. So we usually finish with a whole, production where everybody who has been in the concert does the song at the end. And another thing that's evolved over the years is that we do a dance. The whole drama cast will do a dance. And last year I thought, we don't have to do a dance. But then the students said, no, we want to do a dance, because they've grown up seeing the other students do a dance. And so now it's become something that we have to have. But it sort of builds on the whole year's work. So the band will work on several songs over the year, and the choirs will work on several songs. And so what you see in the end of the year production is the culmination of all the work that we've put in for the year. The drama club will start working on their script and all of the things that they need to do in term 1. So our term 1 starts in February or late January, and then the last term finishes in December. And so we work all year until we get to that point where we can perform the final production, and all of that comes together. So yeah, it's quite a lot of mentally for me to keep in my head, because it's sort of in a primary school, it's a one-man band kind of a thing in terms of the teacher. Like, I don't have a team of teachers working with me to put the production together. It's me putting it together. And so I have to get my students to take on some of those roles. So I have to build those skills in them so they can manage the sound, and, they can do some of the stage roles as well.
It's a lot of work, but definitely, again, as I said before, rewarding.
Yeah, very rewarding at the end.
So in closing, Judy, one last question. Could you tell us what do you miss most about the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis?
Food and the beaches. The food, I can't get pigeon peas here. So I have a life without pigeon peas now, and no black pudding, and no none of the things that the foods that I grew up with and love and have on certain occasions. My mum supplies me with sorrel, so I still have sorrel. And I can still make ginger beer, but the food. And I think, Australians say that they have the best beaches, but I think we have the better beaches.
That's true.
That makes you a great tourism ambassador, Judy. Thank you so much for that line.
It does.
All right, well, we want to thank you.
They know we don't get sharks in the waters in St. Kitts, and, we don't have to worry about jellyfish and crocodiles. And so I think, and it's much warmer as well. So, and shading on the beach. That's one thing that here you go to a really nice beach. It's huge. It's,